Welcome to the TIMFD podcast. Today is my favorite day is about appreciating every day as it comes, no matter what life throws at us. We hope that this podcast speaks to you, and if it does, please like, share, and comment. Now let's find out why today is our favorite day this week.
David, welcome back to Today is My Favorite Day.
Thank you. It is a great day.
It is a great day. I thought we would do just a little segment called Dumb Dad Stories, travel,
any kind of stories like that?
Any kind of stories, yeah. I think we can have some fun with that.
Tell me what we got one. Give me one.
We made this trip when my kids were little. Now, Mary was a baby and she's over 40 now, so you know how long
it was a while
right?
ago.
I had a 72 Ford station wagon LTD, the wood size, stuff like that. Really nice, right? And so we're going from Kemmerer, that is because it was always so cold there, right? From Kemmerer to Oregon, Bend, Oregon, and then over to Portland, and I think then we went down into California, right? So nice long trip we had planned. Over 5,000 miles we put on the Ford, right?
Wow.
Brand new engine in it. Friend of mine in the restaurant, we put this engine in the car. Two cooks putting a restaurant in the car. Go figure that one out, guys. But so we take off. We take off kind of at night. We figure the kids would sleep, right? So we get into Idaho, somewhere in the middle of Idaho. I don't even remember the name of the town. It would have been much better if it had been Boise, but it wasn't, And so, and the car starts dragging. And I'm thinking, what the devil is going on? So I pulled off the side of the road, looked at it, and didn't seem anything messed up or anything like that. I should have jacked the car up and see what was going on. So I told my wife at the time, we're going to get off here, we'll figure out something, and we'll go from there, right? So I get off the interstate, look in the rearview mirror, and there's smoke coming out of the right-hand side of the back, right?
Okay.
And then flames start shooting.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And so it was snowing, it was middle of winter, so I pulled off into a ditch to hopefully that the flame would go out, right? And it did. There was a hotel right up the street.
What was the flame coming from?
The brake fluid, the wheel bearings seized, and I'm still going down the road.
That makes sense.
And it got so hot that it smoked the brake line, and the brake fluid came out on the bearings and seized and caught on fire.
That's wild.
So yeah, it was crazy. But the kids are asleep, right? Now the baby's not a big deal. My wife took the baby, and my middle daughter, she woke up. She was just fine. My son was sound asleep. Mm-hmm. I mean, and he was dead weight.
That happens.
And so couldn't wake him up. Matter of fact, I don't think he woke up until we were in the motel room. So we checked in, we did all that kind of stuff and everything. Sure. Just left the car there. We figured, we'll figure it out sooner or later. Well, like I said, it turned out to be the wheel bearing. Got it fixed. Like I said, with middle of Idaho, we didn't do credit cards. Mm-hmm. There's no cell phones. Who do you call? You can't call Ghostbusters. They're not going to help you, right? Yeah. And so we worked some things out. Actually, the restaurant that I own transferred some money so we could get some things. I actually wrote out a check to get the stuff fixed, right?
Okay.
And they didn't know me from Adam, right? And so they got it all fixed. We got back on the road, and my son says, "Why'd we stop?" I'm like, the car was on fire.
Yeah.
And so that was a very interesting trip. I did learn when we got to Portland that people in Portland don't know how to drive in winter weather, ice, and we were going up the hill.
They slide all over the place.
They're going all over the place. And so fortunately, I was able to, big heavy station wagon, maintain speed. And I was like a Florida driver. I was weaving in and out, but I was doing the speed while they're going all over the place. Mm-hmm. Once I got over the hill, great shape. But yeah, that was probably not, I should have checked everything before we left. We had a new engine in the car.
It's dad stuff.
It's dad stuff.
Now, I was a brand new dad.
Oh, okay.
When I was a brand new dad, my wife was a single mom, and we married when Shayna was 6. My oldest is Shayna. And Shayna loved doing stuff with me, especially when she was young like that.
Yes.
So we had moved down to San Jose where most of my family was, and my friends there, old friends were there. So we make the decision to go to Big Basin. Big Basin is a place up in the coastal redwoods. Mm-hmm. It's beautiful. We've done many hikes there, many runs on that. And Shayna wanted to go, and I said, sure, let's take her. So I went with David Jacob, Dave Underwood, and my brother, and we went on this hike. So 4 guys, all in good shape, used to doing this stuff, and at that time now 7-year-old. So we're going on this hike and not thinking that, as we got going, we realized this is a 11-mile hike all around. Mm-hmm. Now, for us, it's nothing. but this is a 7-year-old girl. And I went, oh no, okay, well, we'll figure it out. We didn't really bring any food, really didn't bring water because we're so used to just kind of going and coming back, no big deal. But you can't do that to a 7-year-old.
No.
Again, now I know, but at that time I did not even think about it. And none of the other guys did either. So I don't want to just blame myself. There was 3 other guys. So we're on this hike, and Shayna was really funny because she goes, at one point on the Big Basin Trail, the trail is really kind of like almost like this silty, puffy dirt. Mm-hmm. And so she starts running, going, Daddy, watch me. And she tripped on a rock that was in that and just dropped. I mean, face planted right on her face.
Wow.
And she was already sweaty. So when she kind of sat up like this, she goes, oh, and started crying. And the tears came down. You can see the stream of mud on her.
Oh, my.
The other guys all take off because they were laughing so hard. They're just trying to get away. And I'm trying not to laugh, and I'm holding her, just crying. And finally, the guys come back, and it was just like, oh, my gosh, now we got this girl that we're on this trip. Well, we kept on going.
Yeah.
And as we went on the trip, later on in the trip, we got closer to these waterfalls. And these waterfalls, you literally have to come off the trail and down. And Underwood and Jacob had already got down there. I was waiting with Shayna, and my brother was already hiking down. And they hiked down to where the falls were, and it's steep. Mm-hmm. Well, Shayna just goes over the fence and goes, hey, guys, and starts running right towards them. Little does she know, there is a 70-foot cliff that's coming to her. And Dave Underwood grabs her arm, and as she comes down, goes, woof, throws her back up against the side of the mountain there. And she's crying a little bit again. And we went, we almost got this girl killed.
Yeah.
We are a bunch of idiots. And so we showed her the waterfall, and she was excited about that. But little did she know that you almost died, girl.
Right.
So we go on the hike. We get her to the halfway point. It's really pretty. We come back, and she's just exhausted. Again, no food, no real water. We drank out of you could drink out of the creeks and stuff back then. Yeah. So we were able to do that. But she's just exhausted. So we have to start carrying her, and we're all trading back and forth, carrying this girl as we're going out, coming back. Well, by the time we get to my brother's van, she was so exhausted that she was throwing up. We were trying to get her water. It was bad. She was dehydrated. And she got better as we were driving back, laying down. She was laying down. I was with her, and the other guys are just going, we're all going to die. Yep. Tanya's going to kill us all. Yep. And so we looked at Shayna kind of jokingly, but not really, said, Shayna, we'll buy you a McDonald's. Just don't say anything. Okay. So we get over there, and we're saying nothing, and she had ate her McDonald's, and something came up where Tanya said, what'd you guys do? Where'd you go? And Shayna said to the effect that she almost went off a cliff.
Oh my!
And that's when Tanya went, "What? Where'd you take her?" And then I had to tell her that we took her on an 11-mile hike, and she was wondering why Shayna was so exhausted.
Yeah.
And we had to explain all that to her. Needless to say, she didn't let us take her much for the next about half a year until we learned what it was like, and I learned what it is like to truly be a father. And but Shayna turned out great. She's a businesswoman. Yeah. She's doing awesome. I have 4 grandsons from her. I love her dearly. Glad she's alive and didn't go over a cliff. But those things, those are the dumb things you happen. I remember doing something with Rebecca. Rebecca loved Beanie Babies. Do you remember Beanie Babies?
Oh, I remember Beanie Babies, yes.
When she was really young, she loved Beanie Babies. And every morning, I would do my reading. She would knock on my door to my office and say, Daddy, are you done with God yet? And I would say, not yet. Let me read a little more. It'd be done. And I'd come into her room, and we'd play this Beanie Baby game.
Okay. And
the Beanie Baby game was, you get these Beanie Babies in a circle, and they're at a fire, kind of a outdoor fire, if you will. And she goes, tell me a scary story. So the scary story was, I'd go, and there was something over there, and she'd look over, and I'd grab a Beanie Baby and throw it, disappear. And she'd look over and go, I can't believe that. Well, I did that a few times, and then I said I have to go. I didn't show her the first time I did this that I was just taking the Beanie Babies.
Oh, no.
And she freaked out. And she was scared. And I had to come back when I got home and say to her, let's go back over. And I showed her what I did.
Oh, okay.
But she freaked out bad. Yeah. And again, Tanya wasn't very happy with me on that. But I was, I just didn't think about it. I'm a typical guy, so I didn't think about it.
Yeah, we do silly things like that. My kids were little, and once again, we were in the restaurant now. I had like 3 partners in the restaurant, Mike and Mike. Mike and Joel and Tim. And so we're babysitting. Girls' night out.
Sure.
Right? Having a good old time. Kids are just getting rowdy. I mean, I had 2 little ones.
Sure.
Tim had 2 little ones, his boys. And Mike's daughter was probably the instigator of everything. She was the oldest at the time, right? And so the kids had seen some sort of rodeo thing, horse roping and hog-tying, stuff like that. And so they said, I wonder what that feels like to be tied up like that.
Oh, so they start tying each other?
Well, when they couldn't get very well. And so us dumb dads are like, well, we'll show you how it's done.
I love that.
Right? And
I love that. That's awesome.
So
that's perfect daddom.
And we knew that moms were going to be home pretty soon.
Sure.
We thought, well, it'll be a big joke, right?
Yeah.
And so we had them all tied up in the middle of the living room floor, and the girls aren't coming home.
Uh-oh.
And so no cell phone, right? This is, and they're later, and now the kids are freaking out.
Yeah.
Mom, go home, just think how much they're going to laugh and stuff like that.
So they're freaking out.
They're freaking out. So we finally had to untie them, and then we're like,
don't say anything.
Tell.
Yeah.
No, that didn't work. As soon as the women walked in the door, boom, every one of those kids, they tied us up.
Yeah. You're all gonna die, kids.
Yeah.
My dad did something that was really funny, and the dads in our neighborhood when I grew up were pretty ingenious guys, and my dad was very much like that. 4th of July came up. 4th of July, we did these fireworks in our neighborhood. In the neighborhood, my dad went to John Ross and said, let's do this. And we were going to figure out what they were doing. And they got a metal garbage can. And they put the metal garbage can out there, and they got some M80s, I guess, and set this thing up. And I don't know what they did, but the moms are going, what are you guys doing? Oh, we're not, we're just going to have some fun with this. And when they shot that thing, that garbage can flew. I mean, it was way up in the air. I mean, it went up, crashing down, and a lot of the moms were ticked. Because going, what are you doing? You're going to blow us all up. We, as boys, thought it was the greatest thing in the world. Dad's awesome. We want to do that. And I get to see my mom just staring my dad down and going, no. And we got involved with them 80s, and I could thank Dad for that. I didn't lose any of my fingers. That was great, but I could definitely thank him for doing that. Another trip that we were on with my dad, we went on a canoe trip.
Okay.
We're going canoeing. It was Boy Scouts. We're going on canoeing, and he was the Boy Scout leader. So we're going down this thing. It's down the Rushing River in California. Going down the Rushing River, no problem. And then one part of we go around this bend, and my dad goes, do not look over there. And it's all boys and a couple of dads in these different canoes. Yep. He goes, do not look over there. What are we going to do?
Look over there.
We look over there. It's a nudist colony.
Oh, no.
Right there. We're going, whoa, look at that, man. And my dad's just going, I'm going to have every mom kill us by the time we get back. And the dads are laughing. They're going, I think it was the greatest. And then they start thinking, my wife's going to hear about this. As we're going down this thing, my mom laughed hard, I must admit, because the way my dad said it, he goes, I did not know there was a nudist colony, and I would not have gone on this part of the river if we were going down this thing, And my mom goes, I know, but I know the other ladies were not very happy about that. Yeah. So we have these dumb dad stories. Dads do a lot of dumb things. Grandpas do it too. Yeah. As a grandfather, I played a game. The boys we were just talking about this, and my grandsons are now one's going to be 19, and so you've got older grandkids. Let's just put it that way. So we're when the ladies would leave and leave me with the babies, I played a game with them. It was a pillow game. Okay. And so I had 2 pillows in my hand, and I'd kind of go around and say, hey guys, you have to hit me 10 times to kill me. And I have to hit you 3 times to kill each one of you. No, 5 times to kill each one of you. And but if you kill me, it hit me 10 times, I fall apart and we go to the next level. So it's kind of like a video game. I did a video game with them. And so I did that. And the first ones, I'm just kind of turtling around, they're hitting me and I die. And it's the greatest thing in the world. And I do another one, but next time I'm going a little faster. And they finally kill me, okay, and I knock a couple of them out, when I finally just get annoyed with them and I start just hitting them on 5, you're out, that kind of thing. Well, as we get going a little faster, I get a little faster, After a while, those guys would come in and I was clocking them. And I watched Caleb. I hit Caleb right in the chin and he literally went, foo, in the air and dropped. Whoa. He thought it was the greatest thing in the world. Cohen him smashing it into the wall and this Cade's just getting obliterated. They thought it was the greatest thing. Now, when mom and grandma walked in and they saw it, they did not think that was the greatest thing.
I don't think so.
I go, what? I said, hey, watch this. And I did it. And they go, whoa, what are you doing? You're taking out my sons. You're taking out my grandsons. And I went, but it's fun.
It's fun, yeah.
Yeah, I just didn't think much of it other than they were having a good time.
They were having a good time with Grandpa.
Yeah, and we were physical. We were taking each other on. We used to, there was this pad that we had, a big kind of foam pad that I used, because the kids loved to wrestle. The boys loved to wrestle. Mm-hmm. So when we had them over, I would wrestle against the 3 of them because Jack wasn't born at that time. And 3 of them. But I would flip them. I just, they come, I let them come I was on my knees and they come up behind me and I was just drop. And we'd talk about like it's like a WWE match, Yeah. And it's it's the Pierce brothers against the Giant or whatever. Yeah. And just, I just trounced them. And sometimes boom, and the wind would come out of one of them. And I'd hold on to them. They'd be crying for a little bit, and then they'd go, okay, time to go back. And they would just go right back into Mom and Grandma when they heard it would run up. Yep. What are you doing? And I go, we're having fun with the boys. And the boys would go back down, because they liked it so much, even though there was some physical pain. It was fun. Yep. And all dads do that kind of stuff. They have good times with it. For us as dads and as grandfathers, we're going to do dumb stuff.
We are. Yeah, we are.
We're going to do dumb stuff.
All the time.
When I taught Rebecca swimming lessons, I remember this was in the back of the grandparents, would be great-grandparent, at their house. Mm-hmm. They had a pool. And we were just moved into Tampa, and we wanted to get Rebecca to swim. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I had taught Shayna, so I was wanting to teach Rebecca. And I said, I need to get her. And they said, yeah, that's great. So when you teach very little children to swim, mamas usually don't want them there a lot of times. Now, if they handle it, they know it, they understand it, they're good. But you got to put them under the water. You got to get them on their back. There's going to be some crying that's going on at times. And so I started doing the swimming lesson with Rebecca, and Grandma and Grandma's coming up now. Mom, this is Mom Tanya. Mm-hmm. She's coming, going, "What are you doing with our daughter?" And I go, "Tanya," and Connie, her grandmother, said the same thing. So Tanya's mom and Tanya, I went, "Guys, I think you both need to leave.
Yeah,
you need to leave so I could teach this little girl how to swim." And she's going to have to know how to go underwater, how to flip over. She's going to be crying. There's going to be stuff. But I guarantee you in 2 days we won't have this problem. Right. And that's what happened in 2 days. Right. But I know it was hard for them. And they thought I was being a stupid dad. Yeah. Uh-huh. And I get it because it looks kind of tough at times. Difficult. Yeah. But Rebecca became a fish. She swam everywhere. Mm-hmm. It was no big deal whatsoever with her. And lastly, and then I'll let you do one more. It was Shayna. Shayna was a freshman. The football quarterback asked her to go to the homecoming dance, whatever it was. Mm-hmm. And I went, oh man, she's 14. And our daughter at that time looked like she's 22 at 14. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I was really concerned. So I had the guy come over and I got to talk to him in my office. And I talked to him and said, you're going to get him home at time and stuff. And apparently it wasn't the best conversation for Shayna. She thought that, maybe I should have been a little nicer, something, but hey, man, she's my daughter, and no. And every dad's going to protect.
Oh, we're hardcore.
Yeah, dads are going to protect their daughters. My dad, when Dawn brought a guy who wanted to go on a date with her over, he had a shotgun out. Yeah. And he had Dan and I answer the door and look at him, stare him down, and then bring him in. Yeah. To sit down. Now, Dawn eventually married Ken. And Ken is a brute. A guy benched like 400 and something pounds. So when he came over, he went, "Hey, Ken, come on in." Can't do anything with that guy.
Goofing around here.
My dad goes, "I'm going to have 2 shotguns for him," kind of thing. But they ended up been married a long time. So we do dumb things also to protect the people we love. Right.
And we do that with siblings also. I was oldest of.
Oh, gosh.
And my sisters to this day will say, I kept some of their best boyfriends away. Wait a minute. Wait.
Best boyfriends.
Yeah, boom, they're gone, right? And so I told my girls, Mary and Sandy, we're going to screen all your dates and stuff like that. Now, through most of their life, I worked in restaurants.
Sure.
So I used to have this big French scimitar knife. Now, it's like a curved knife.
Oh, that's cool. That's perfect.
So whenever they say somebody, that's exactly, you got the steel and you're sitting there talking to them and where you going, what are you doing?
I've heard that from so many dads and so many brothers.
It's so cool. But I learned it from a guy. I was managing a restaurant and his daughter had won this trip. And was in San Jose at the time. It was supposed to be to Vegas. Okay. Well, I had to go over and explain to him, I'm a young manager and stuff like that. And she's, I don't know, I think she was 16 or 17 years old. I wasn't taking her to Vegas, but and he meets me at the door the same way. And I'm like, you want to take my daughter somewhere? Where? And I'm like, hey, it's not me.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
But, we do things like that. But, with our daughters especially, we're very protective.
Well, and here's the thing. In the scripture, it tells us that we need to love and respect, right? Yes. And that's talking about our spouse. Mm-hmm. But I look at my daughters as an extension of this, that I am to love them as Christ loved the church and gave himself up for them. And I do that with my grandsons, So there's good things in Ephesians 5. If you want to go look at that, I think it's verses 21 through 33. But it talks about that love and respect, but that the husband needs to love his wife as Christ loved the church. Yes. I believe that we need to be giving our lives up for these people, loving them and caring for them, right?
Absolutely. I believe that too.
I'm okay with dads going, hey, I'm going to protect my daughter. I'm going to protect my son. I'm going to protect my family. And sometimes we're just stupid and do dumb things and because we want to enjoy life and we want our kids and grandkids to enjoy life too.
So we're kind of out of time now, but if you have a dumb dad story, please reach out to us. Let us know what your dumb dad story is, and we'll try and get it on. So, David, it's been enjoyable today hearing these stories. I'm going to have to ask Shayna about that story.
Oh, yeah, ask her. She'll tell you. She'll tell you.
She's probably fortunate there wasn't cell phones around.
I think she's scarred for life on that. Whatever.
Anyway, this has been David Towner, Sam McKeown. Today is our favorite day. Live intentionally, be very blessed, my friends.
Guys, take it easy. Bye.
Thank you for listening to TIMFD, Today is My Favorite Day. Views, comments, and opinions are those of the host and guest alone, and Dave and Sam are solely responsible for the content of this podcast. TIMFD is produced and directed by Alex Korn. Music is composed and performed by Chuck Fott. Thank you for listening. Have a great day, live intentionally, and be very blessed.